Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Questions and Answers with Koko Bays. It's the episode 3, I think. We'll just get right quick to it. Okay. The questions are not much from last week, so I'll just try to go straight to it. So let's run down to 7 days ago, I think. Somebody said, please, do you have a link where you thoroughly broke down Siben's style of play? I don't have a link, but I'm sure there are lots of materials out there for talking about how to play Siben. And I'm going to recommend one very good guy. His name is Okito, Elokito. Do well to to check him out on YouTube, Instagram. He's from Zambia. He's a great Siben player. He actually, I take out time to just tell him, bro, show me stuff. You know, when I have the opportunity, I don't play with it. I learn as much as I can from him. But hey, there's not so much to how I play Siben. All right, it just involves thumbing. They call it boiling. If you don't do well, they say, guy, you're trying, but you don't boil well. All right, so it just has to do with having your thumb. The difference with your regular play. So you mean to play Makosa? So the difference with your regular play is that you thumb alongside the kick. You keep the rhythm of the kick with your thumb. So you have that muted when you do that, you hear that. So you have all right, so and then Siben has a lot of percussions. So you hear them do a lot of stuff like this in between the notes. And all of that, you know. And then with Siben, different players, different styles, but I think the proper approach is you don't do two notes with two fingers, with these fingers. Somehow, while your thumb keeps the rhythm, it comes down to play the notes together with your index at the same time. So you have things like, you see that? So do with the thumb, another do with the second thumb, the index. So I think that's one thing you may have to master if you have to learn Siben. You have to, if you don't know how to do it, I'd advise that you start, just learn how to use your thumb and your index to play like a normal diatonic. See that? Because you'll be needing it a lot. All right. So while your thumb does in Siben, while it does, it goes all the way down to still. You hear that? All right, so that's just the thing to Siben. So it's different from the normal, just normal fingering. No. The unique thing about it is the thumbing, which they call boiling. All right, so I'm going to do an extensive material, so I don't stay too long on that here. But that's it. That's like an intro to how to start. I hope that helps somebody out there. That question was from JB's. Ochman93 says, hi Koko Bays, I've truly been blessed by the way you play and I learned a lot from you. Please, can you teach more on thumbing techniques? So I'm also sure about what you're referring to as thumbing techniques, because we do that in a lot of bass playing. You know, maybe you're referring to all of that. They use that for black American music. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, or you're referring to the thumbing we use for Makossa, basically. If that's not what you're referring to, likely you're referring to the thumbing in Makossa. I just spoke about it, or in Siben. I'm going to try to put out a material for that extensively. So let's go to the next person. Nero Asoko says, good evening, sir. I love to know the breakdown of Siben bass lines. Wow. I think it's due for me to put up something on that note. I just spoke about it, so you can just rewind this video and get to watch, the basic approach to it, and just stay tuned for what's coming material wise, about Siben. I may have to talk to a couple of persons to be in that video, so the approach is completely professional. My friend in Zambia will gladly do that with me, so I'll reach out to him. Gilabel UI4GM says, sir, please, do you listen to secular music? Wow, I dodged that question the last time, and I'm still going to let me just be very direct about it. Just know what works for you, what keeps you in line with your purpose and your vision, and leave the rest to God. Somebody say, I like the breakdown of that Lucky Dube riff. That's just pretty simple. I think it's do solo so me so do me so fa la do so ti do solo so me so do me so fa la do so ti do. That's it. Pretty simple. So Mr. Bright says, thank you so much for this. Thank you so much, sir, for this great opportunity. I noticed your bass is always two keys back tune. Why is this so? All right. I learned it from a friend. I used to play with the standard tuning, E, D, G, B, A, D, G, and all of that. But for me personally, I'm going to be real about that. It makes my strings softer. All right. I like them softer. And then most importantly, it gives me that extra low end. So if you're playing the standard tuning, you don't have some deep notes that I have. Anyways, I also sacrifice some very high octave notes too. So if you have to tune down, it means that you may not have that level of that high. You lose some notes on this part because you're like, I'm a whole tone tuned down. So if you're very concerned about plenty solos and engaging all the last notes and all, then that may not work for you. But I do it basically because my bass sounds fat. I'm not saying standard tuning does not sound fat. No, this sounds bigger, whether you like it or not. It gives you access to deeper keys right here on the neck, and then it makes the action pretty soft. I like it soft. My hands are not big, so I don't want to break them. All right, so that's about it basically. All right. Emedion Ibekwe says, Koko, please, do you guys listen to the loops using the in-ear machine? Because I sometimes go off a bit. Yeah, once you have anything that is tying you guys to time, it has to be. I suggest it in your ears. I've seen drummers, I've seen musicians use wedge, like side monitors and all of that. But for a drummer, it's like the riskiest thing to do. How do you play alongside every other instrument and still be on time? How do you hear the click or whatever guides you? And I don't think it's professional to hear the clip, 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 or the all of that loud, timing basically is supposed to be guided by clicks. So where you don't have clicks, we usually depend on loops and all of that to keep everybody in check. So imagine everything coming out that loud in the way you're definitely going to have a noisy. You're definitely going to have a noisy stage, and all of that. That's why you have in-ears. It's safer for you, the drummer, to have that thing playing in your head, and then you can just still be normal and not go off. Gideon said, how much does Streams of Joy pay you as a full-time basis? That's extremely personal. All right. It's not being in a church, to be honest, is not about the money. You need to always get that spiritual covering. Find a place to be connected with and serve. There's something that comes with service that is not you can't buy. Money cannot buy it for you. there's something that comes with service. So yeah, you get paid to support your movement, fuel, and all of that, logistics, and help you out with a couple of stuff in your life. But if we were to value this gift, it's priceless. So it's not, we're not hirelings, all right? We have a home church where you're connected to your pastor. He speaks over your life with the word, prayers, and all of that. And then they support your music. They support you, for doing all the things you do, getting the music together and all of that. But it's not. Don't be in it 100% because of the money. It's very important, but don't make that the goal. All right, very, very important. All right. So China says, thank you once again, sir. So I have a question. In terms of overcoming challenges when you were starting up, how did you deal with the epileptic power supply in Nigeria, which affects personal rehearsals? I've tried to rehearse daily, but I'm at the mercy of NEPA sometimes. To be honest, I'm running generator right now doing this video. It's everywhere. It's normal, but that's part of the sacrifice you have to make. When someone else is going somewhere to buy burger or chicken, you're thinking of how you can use that money to get fuel and rehearse, or do something that is going to improve on your life generally. Improve your life generally, improve your musicality. The thing is, when you're great, eventually you get to the place where God will just help you have these things, and then they may no longer become they may no longer be challenges, to say. I don't know. However, if you are at the place right now where you can't afford a generator, then it means that you just have to stretch. I've noticed in Nigeria sometimes you may not have light during the day in some places. I used to stay in a place where you barely have light during the day, and then in the night there's light. Then it means that you have to structure yourself such that you could at least work a bit in the night before you go catch some rest. But not having light should not be an excuse for you not to do what you need to do. If you're a content generator, you need to rehearse with something, and then you need light to do it, then you have to just structure yourself such that you can you understand when you have light in your area, and stretch a bit to work with that. That's it. I don't think it's harder than that. You don't have a choice. But when you get to the point where you can run generator, you can have solar, whatever, or you afford a place where the light is more stable, then that works for you. It's fine. Same Chinaza says, where's your Ibanez 4 strings? Okay, I think I sold it at some point. I wasn't really using it again at one point, so I had to sell it. Okay, so Polish Delivery Company says, do you prefer passive or active bass? Depends on what you're trying to do. Some people prefer passive basses. Old school classic players, most times you see them play those Fender precision basses. Most of them are passive basses. Alright, but then again, active basses, I recommend, if that is going to be your first gear, you play in a church, or you need to do different kinds of music, then you need an active bass. Because I know with active basses, most times you have the option of making them passive. And so why not get an active bass? When you need to get a passive tone, you find your way around it, than getting a passive bass, and then you need to play some music that needs more low ends, more mid range, and you don't have that option on most passive basses. So I recommend that you get an active bass if that's going to be your first gear. Yeah. So Uche String says, sorry boss, which kind of bass guitar do I need as a guitarist? As a bass guitarist, which kind of bass guitar do you need? Depends on your budget, depends on what you find around you, depends on what you want to do. All right, so I can't tell you need a Fender and you don't have 10,000 naira in your account. I also cannot tell you you need to go play with Beyonce and you should be going there with one brand that you know that cannot deliver, or you're going to play with an A-list artist and then you're not using gears that are world class. So it depends on your budget, depends on what's available to you and what you want to achieve. It's very, very important. Some great bass players can carry a 200 naira bass and still deliver on the gig and you'll be shouting. All right, so it's not, I also like to add that it's not 100% about the bass. Go do your homework, whatever you carry to play, which is important. You have a good gear, but whatever you carry to play, still comes out good if you have stuff in you. The content, what you carry, is very important. All right. So Silent Flame says, so my question goes like this: how can I train my ear to transcribe vocal melodies? Immediately I hear the vocals as an inspiring solo basis, and also know the progression of song by ear. I give an instance, and it's very simple. I may just repeat. Very basic. Try to know, this is like your basic diatonic scale. Try to be able to identify these notes in and out of music. So you just hear, you already know you do. So yeah, T, Fi, So, Ti, La, Fa. So try as much as you can to learn those things. Re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Don't be doing re, and you're doing do. There are people who are tone deaf, people who can hear notes and not identify them. So if you've learned it, if you try to just sing along the notes, you recite it while you play. I'm sure when you get used to that and music is going on, you can tell the notes the singer is singing. Everything everybody sings, whatever anybody sings is still a note in music. All right, so that's music for you. But being able to identify them, because they are in words, can be easy or easier if you already know how to just recite your notes and be correct about reciting them. Basically, yeah. And the same way, also to know the progression of the song by ear. Well, that answers it. You know the you're able to recite. You can always tell where the progression is at the time. And sometimes you may have complex progressions. Just pick up your gear and touch it. You don't have to know everything at once. Gradually, the more you train yourself, the level at which you train yourself will determine the level you'll be able to identify stuff. Okay. So Shadrach Covenant says, can you show us a finger exercise to build speed and dexterity, your own personal exercise? Well, when you pick up the bass, one of the first things you do is sorry, I'm on this key because of where I'm. One of the first things you do, I personally run my diatonic. Why? It involves all your fingers, and then you can start doing the number thing. You could do you just pick 4 frets and do 1 4 3 2 3. Next you go to the next string 1 4 2 3. Next string 1 4 2 3. Next 1 4 2 3. So you could just do that, alternate the numbers. So it could be 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Next one 1 2 3 4 1 2. I do this a lot to open up, because sometimes my ring finger tends to become stiff. I don't want to. Some of us learn bass playing just 3 fingers. It's easier to do lots of complex stuff solo well when you have all your fingers accurately, playing their part during play, especially the left hand. And then your right hand too. A lot of people just work thinking it's just about your left hand. You also have a lot of things to do with your right hand. So you find a way to, just keep control and speed with your right hand. These are very basic things. If you go online, there are several finger training exercises, plenty of them. So do well to check online materials. I don't know everything. I don't know everything. I know some things that work for me, and then I still learn, and I'm still learning. So do well to check them out on the internet and improve yourself better. So Samuel Gabriel says, thank you for setting this up. It has been so impactful so far. My question is, what makes a good basis? What are the things to look out for to determine a good basis? He's disciplined. He's humble. He likes to learn. He's vast. He knows a lot, but does only what's required. Very important. That's a very important vibe for every musician. You know so much, but you bring to the table only what's necessary per time, and then you always find a good basis. Being able to blend with any band. So being able to study people and just blend in, regardless where you're coming from, is also an attribute of being a good basis. Of course, when you hear them play too, you could tell their level of experience, and you know that they are good, or if they are good or not. All right. So Samuel Gabriel says, aside the finger exercise, what should the bassist who is aspiring to be so good rehearsal routine look like? Like I said, listen to a lot of material. Play songs, internalize them. I'm going to emphasize that again. Internalizing music is 70% scoring it or being good at replicating that whatever you're internalizing. So be consistent at your rehearsals. When you pick up your bass to rehearse, because I'm seeing your rehearsal routine. When you pick up your bass, warm up your fingers. It's like exercise, like waking up in the morning, brushing your teeth and all that. Warm up your fingers, and then have a goal. Have a goal. Are you picking up your bass? Is it your normal? You want to learn something you don't know, or you're trying to score a song? Don't pick up a bass and because it sounds good in your ear, you are supposed to be scoring a song for a gig you have tomorrow. You deviate. So rehearsal just depends on what you're trying to achieve. Have something like that goal, and then it will drive you and keep you in check. So if you have to do like 4 things and you know that you are not time conscious, say okay, every 5 minutes I'm done with this, I have to go to the next. Put yourself in time, and I'm sure you'll be fine. So rehearsal routine, warm up, have a goal. If you want to learn modes, you want to refresh what you learned the other time that you're not yet perfect at, do that, and then you go to learning something new. Just find a way to make it spicy. Don't be boring. Don't say this is how it must be done. I lie. There's nothing like that. You look at your bass and run because you'll be tired. All right. So Pressure says, how do you manage to record and edit your videos with high quality without having to worry about big memory size? So I have a Canon 80D. It records great, and a 50mm 1.4 lens. That records great by default. And then I know a little bit about video editing. I use Adobe Premiere Pro, just color it a bit, and that's about it. I record the audio separately with my phone. I have a material on that on Cell. I'm going to put the link here. You can see how I record my audio and then do the blend with my video. Yeah. Chisom says, God bless you, sir. You and your team has blessed me. I'm a super fan of yours. I've only seen two basses that are unique in their sound, tone, and style in Nigeria, and that's you and Austin Flourish. Please, can you bring Austin Flourish to the show here? He has magical stuff in his hands. Okay, Austin Flourish is my friend. I'll find a way. We'll find a way to get him to do something that would involve not just me. Even this question and answers, I may have to start bringing in people to talk about stuff by themselves and have the responses proper and professional. So Edem Reacts says, my question is, what are some of the major challenges you face as a bassist? How do you overcome them? There's no craft that does not have a challenge. There are plenty. I can't list them. It's like labor. I can't tell you. Some of them are peculiar to you as an individual, the place you are, the gears you have at your disposal, the the situations you are, the environment you are. Challenges are relative, to be honest. So if you're specific, it may be easy to answer this. But one thing I'll tell you is one major challenge people may not talk about is the ability to self-motivate yourself and keep going. It's very important. You will see a lot of things to distract you, a lot of opportunities to make money other than music, especially when it looks like music is not giving you all the money that you desire. But you have to be consistent. So the distractions, women stuff and all of that, it's very important that you find that thing that keeps you focused on your goal. It's very, very important. So like I said, if you narrow your challenge down to something, I'll be able to easily answer that. But challenges are relative and pretty much so. I'll just encourage you, whatever the challenge is, stay focused. You have a goal, you have where you're going to. There's a place you want to see yourself in 5, 6, 10 years. Just work towards it. You know what you need to do. You want to be an engineer, you know that you have to go to school, learn engineering, get the certificate, serve, do an IT and all of that. That is what music, the same thing as music. You have to do stuff. You have to learn a course if you have to, be mentored by somebody for a while if you have to, just to get to the place you want to be, over time. Just have a vision, write the vision, make it plain. That's what the Bible says. And then it helps you, become better every day you see yourself. All right, Pro Bass says, you talk about a certain bass with a pickup. Is there any certain in sound of Igbo style that the left hand will shift to the high? Oh, I think I know what you're saying. So I do that when I want to sound synthy and heavy, playing close to the bridge, gives you that percussive tone. Then when you come to the neck, it gives you that heavy synth-like tone. This is the bridge. This is the neck. You know, so it just depends on what you're playing at the time. Number 2, he says, please, is the difference in goat notes and palm muting? Of course, there's lots of this is ghost note. You're not really playing a note, all right? You just so this comes in. These are ghost notes, and they are usually percussive. They help you keep that rhythm. A lot of them in African music, while palm muting is this is it. This is not muted. This is muted. All right, so you just do that palm muting to help your notes stay muted, basically, and sound like muted bass. All right, that's it, basically. Number 3 says, how did you get that do mi in the minute in the cartoon? I think you were trying to talk about this thing I do. I just come to the last fret on the first string, like your smallest string, and then I do a strike it, then I pull it up with my left hand. So nothing else. Nothing. It's not tied to any key or anything. No. Number 4, and if they say lock up your bass, what does that mean? Lock up your bass. I don't know. I think they're just trying to tell you stay locked in the music. You know, stay groovy. Don't do too much. All right. Maybe you're beginning to solo too much. Just stay locked in the music. All right. Prince Achibong says, thank you for answering my previous questions. How many? All right. I think I missed the question you asked the other time. What is syncopation? That's like something everybody does. It's like a melody everybody picks for maybe turnarounds or just distracting in music. But everybody does it, most times including the drummer. They are playing down and down, da 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 da. That's if everybody does that together. Another syncopation does it. Everybody accents them, so it's louder because everybody does them together. It may be different notes, but timing, paging, approach, everything on that is the same. You know, to just give that whole sound that they expect you to hear at that point. This is very layman's definition. And then number 2, he says, what are locks? Locks, you're locking. You pick a riff and you stick to it. So if they say the riff is I don't know, I'm doing Lucky Dube stuff or whoever this is. I think these are just unique bass lines that we grew up knowing. So stay to the lock. You're not expected to do. No, come on. So sometimes you do all of that to just make it sweet, but no. When you're expected to hold down the groove, it means you're supposed to stay locked in, pick that riff. If there isn't any, pick that riff and then stay locked into it. All right, that's locked. You're locked in with the drummer. Somebody said I've checked on Amazon, couldn't find the link. Okay, so I'll put a link to those vinyl stickers on this video so you can check for it. They are very simple stickers to get. PG Studio says, is that your son? Yeah, on this particular video, that was him. He comes around on Thursday evenings for midweek services, and then he's always around us. So you see him in some of my videos. So V-Bass Music say, Papa, show us how you play your C-bend technique, please. This C-bend is sweet. I did it at the initial part of this video. Do well to check it out. OF1 says, don't basses need effects too? I usually see the guitarists use effect pedals that most times I'm playing. Should I get something like a volume boosting? You don't hear. The challenge with it just depends on what you want to achieve. Pedals work for you if you have need for them. I personally have a preamp. It's an external preamp. My bass is very good, but I still have a preamp that I need to make it to still, just drive some things. I have mid-range. I still have an extension of that on the preamp. It helps me add that warmth if I want and all. It still has bass bump and stuff. So it depends on what you want to achieve, how satisfied. So the thing is, you're not getting those things because you want to go and take over the sound in an event and all that. They can just mute you, low, anything you. If you like put your volume on 300 from your pedal, nobody will still hear you. So you understand what these things work as or what their functions are before you go for them. Don't go for them because other people have them. How great is your bass? How well do you need a preamp, an external preamp or a pedal? Okay, you like solo bass, you like changing your tone to overdrive, wah, clavi, reverb, then you need a pedal. So just depends on what you want to achieve. You love the partitude thing, you like and all of that. So you just go for what works for you, not just because someone else has it. Nathaniel says, sir, what advice can you give to a bassist that is a student does not have his own personal bass but has the passion for it? Well, keep going, man. You have to find a way. Most of us started without having our gears. These gears are not cheap. So, and if you started early in life, you discover that maybe as at 12, 15, you did not have any source of income. Telling your parents to buy you gears. Not now that we buy these things for our kids because we understand how effective they can become in their future. Your parents will not understand what you mean telling them to buy you a bass guitar or a drum at that point. So just find a way. Get a church, get a band. Some of us don't want to go to churches, but I feel that's where you can also have access to some things, without having to pay for them and stuff. You belong to a choir and you're gifted. You can grow there. You like it, so don't let your passion die because you are a student and you cannot afford a bass. Find somebody who has be friends with and learn. Somebody says students load data on phone, wear lovely dress, eat good food, and if you truly have passion, we go to make it happen. I love that. Sometimes too, it's all about priorities. How much do you love what you want to do? How much do you love music and how much are you willing to invest in it? That's the truth. Don't Sammy, don't get laughed at because you keep up the bass face. They don't understand. You say they laugh at you when you keep the facial expression. They don't understand. When they understand, you can't be explaining to everybody. Just keep doing you, enjoying your music, and everything will be all right. All right. So I think that's all for the week. Thank you guys for joining this episode of Questions and Answers with Koko Bass. Leave your questions in my videos. When you watch them under this video, I'll gladly answer them as much as I can. I hope something here has blessed somebody and opened something new to somebody who's been wanting to learn that thing. Thank you guys. Do not forget to share, like, and comment on this video. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you're like among the first to see when I post stuff up. God bless you guys. See you in the next episode.